From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, December 30th. All right, have the rain gear handy. On and off showers all throughout the day this Friday. Winds are going to start off breezy, and then they're going to get lighter after lunchtime, so that's some good news. Despite the rain and cloud cover, temps are going to feel nice with highs in the upper to mid-50s. Tomorrow, temperatures will fall for New Year's weekend. Not too much, though. A few showers will linger in the morning hours, then it'll be dry for most of New Year's Eve. Highs are going to top out in the upper 40s to close out the year. It's above normal, so that's something to note. The start of 2023 will be some quiet weather, a little bit of sunshine working in. The bit of sunshine will help us warm up with highs in the low 50s for Sunday. And 3 people are hurt after a trio of shootings overnight. All happened in less than an hour of each other. One was on the southwest side at the Arborwood at Man Road Apartments near Man Road and West Mills Road. Police say a man was shot around 11:30 last night and is in serious condition. A few minutes earlier, a male was shot on West Morris Street near South Belmont Avenue on the near west side. Police didn't say how old the victim was, but did say he was shot in the leg. And then about a half hour later, police were called to the near north side. Officers responded to a home on West 36th Street near Clifton Street by Crown Hill Cemetery and found a male nearby who'd been shot in the head. He was taken to Methodist Hospital. No other information on any victims or possible suspects has been released. State police say a man is dead after he was hit by a semi in Clark County in southern Indiana. Some INDOT footage caught it. The crash, it was around 8:30 last night on I-65 southbound in Clarksville. Police say the man was trying to run west across the lanes when the semi hit him. The driver immediately stopped and contacted authorities. Alcohol and drugs are not believed to be factors in the crash. No other information on the victim has been released. The city of Indianapolis is now set to take part in a new social media campaign aimed at steering kids away from gun violence. The organization, Project Unloaded, says its mission is to change the cultural narrative by reaching Generation Z. That's why they created the SNUG initiative, otherwise known as Safer Not Using Guns, earlier this year. It's targeted towards TikTok users from 13 to 17 years old using ads or videos that share the risks of handling guns. The organization's executive director says research shows kids are still making up their minds about guns at an early age, making it important to get the message out. And it's working so far. Project Unloaded says when it's first launched the campaign, 20% of those who were exposed to it changed their views. Organizers say the social media campaign is similar to the anti-smoking ads of the 90s that helped steer a generation of teens away from cigarette smoking. Southwest Airlines is set to resume normal operations after an 8-day meltdown. Hundreds of thousands of passengers have been delayed or stranded. So far today, 4 Southwest flights have been canceled out of Indianapolis Airport, and at least 183 flights since Sunday. Southwest is now giving us a new apology, saying rebuilding customer trust is what's important. Southwest says it's offering new online options for canceled customers. Flyers with plans through Monday can now request changes to their flight without paying additional charges. You can also submit missing baggage information and ask for reimbursement of expenses like hotels, food, and taxis. Representative Rick Larson is a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. He says that passengers need to be rebooked, reimbursed, and the airline needs to show remorse for how the customers are being treated. And most importantly, he says Southwest needs to speed up the refund time frame. He also says Congress should take action. Because of this, in his words, he calls it a debacle, should now make Congress change laws around aviation and ensure the traveling public doesn't go through this again. And Southwest could face federal penalties over the issues. The U.S. Department of Transportation notified the airline that it would take action if it didn't compensate passengers. In a letter, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg pointed out promises the company made to reimburse passengers and to provide meals, hotels, and refunds. Buttigieg also said the policy promised to reunite passengers with their lost baggage. The DOT warns that it'll use the fullest extent of its investigative and enforcement powers to hold the airline accountable. Buttigieg says one option is levying fines against the airline that could end up costing tens of thousands of dollars per violation per passenger. And the airline says it could take days to clear the backlog of the stranded passengers and get them reunited with that luggage, despite being set to resume those normal operations today. News 8's Camila Fernandez spoke with some travelers at Indianapolis International who had to sort through large piles just to find their luggage.
After dealing with cancellations, a lot of Southwest Airlines passengers are now dealing with a second nightmare, that is, trying to find their bags.
This is what I've been wearing since Monday, so...
Hundreds of pieces of lost luggage at the Indianapolis International Airport.
Because I called the corporate office and they said my bags were here, and then I came here and they're like, no, it's not.
I mean, I don't honestly know if I want to continue traveling with them, but I don't know how they would make up for the money I've lost, honestly.
On Thursday, Southwest Airlines passengers arrived to the airport seeking answers. David Stead says he and his wife and kids came to Indiana from Florida to visit family. He found out their luggage is stuck in Atlanta.
It's been frustrating, but as you can see, it's thousands of people. So, I mean, it's not the people on the ground's fault. It's whatever, corporate. We'll just blame it on corporate. So
he says Southwest Airlines will be mailing their luggage back to Florida. For now, they're planning to drive back because they fear more flights will get canceled.
Southwest is doing their thing. I know through my credit card, I already called them. They said they have trip disruption and trip cancellation. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I should be compensated for everything. That's all that we can do as far as this point.
Liza Terrell says she flew from California to Indiana to visit. Luckily, her bags made it to Indianapolis.
I was with Southwest and I had to find my own flight with Frontier just to get here. Otherwise, I was going to be stuck in Denver. I had nowhere to go. And then they even ended up canceling the Denver flight, so I wouldn't have made it home if I hadn't taken it in my own hands.
She has some advice for other travelers.
I know it's hard, but remain calm, because I thought all of the worst things, and then I did get a call that my bags were here before. I'm traveling back to California this weekend, so thankfully my bags got here before that would have been even worse. So, yeah, just try to stay hopeful, I guess.
For people who are looking to request a refund, all they have to do is answer these questions on the Southwest Airlines website. In Indianapolis, Camila Fernandez, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
A new batch of transcripts from the January 6th House Select Committee's interview show a U.S. Senator asking for more information about voter fraud claims made after the 2020 election. The transcript is from former President Trump lawyer Christina Bobb. She testified that South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham pledged to become a champion of the election fraud claims. However, Bobb claimed Graham asked advisors of Trump to give him information about dead voters and an example of illegal voting. Bobb says Graham said he wanted just 5 dead voters. His request came in a meeting days before the Capitol riots. Bobb testified that Graham received a memo from Trump's legal team titled Chairman Graham Dead Votes Memo for Your Consideration. She says he, however, didn't do anything with it. And the batch of transcripts also includes one with Donald Trump Jr. In it, Trump Jr. explains why he texted former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows a plan to keep his father in office for a second term. The text included many strategies ultimately used, like filing lawsuits, advocating recounts, and sending fake electors to Washington. Trump Jr. has said he was not the original author. He told the committee he sent it because he thought the strategy sounded plausible. He added he wanted Meadows to look into the issues presented in the text. Meadows did not respond to the November 5th text, but did answer a follow-up text the next day where he said much of what it included had merit. And the transcripts are also painting a picture of former First Lady Melania Trump's lack of trust for the people close to her husband after the 2020 election. Comes from a deposition testimony from Melania Trump's former Chief of Staff, Stephanie Grisham. In them, Grisham tells the committee that Melania distrusted people she thought were giving her husband bad advice, like lawyers Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani. She said Melania also never trusted that her stepson Don Jr. was doing things in the best interest of his father. Closer to January 6th, Grisham recalled the First Lady talking about crazy people, telling Trump to do a rally that she wanted no part of. And the death toll from the blizzard that paralyzed much of western New York is rising, now with at least 40 people dead. Officials in the hardest hit area of Buffalo say they expect that number to grow. While authorities continue to search for and identify other potential victims, a new threat is emerging. Mike Valerio explains how officials are preparing for the potential of flooding.
as the massive amount of snow from the historic blizzard that struck western New York begins to melt.
As it warms up toward the end of the week, reaches 50 degrees, we expect that there will be some flooding. We've seen these patterns before, after storms.
But officials say the flood threat may not be as bad as initially forecast.
We're not really too concerned with any flooding, although some of our districts right now are doing some snow ditching, opening up drainage inlets so that this gradual melt will take place.
Right now, officials are working to name the unidentified victims of the storm and say they expect the death toll to rise in the coming days.
Some of those families don't even know their loved one is dead yet. There are additional bodies that have been received that are believed to be blizzard deaths, but they do need to have an autopsy and additional work done.
Now, nearly 1 week after the storm hit, a driving ban in the city of Buffalo has been downgraded to a travel advisory. And at least 3 states have sent in help to get the city up and running again, which officials say has been expensive.
We're using about 2,000 gallons of diesel every 4 hours. We're really kind of spending about $1 million a day, including $1 million yesterday to open up the southern part of Buffalo.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
More than 16,000 migrants have been bussed out of Texas and into so-called sanctuary cities this year. That's according to the governor's year-end review of the program. Officials say the state started the busing on April 13th. At first, Washington, D.C. was the only destination. Eventually, New York City, Chicago, and Philadelphia were added. The Texas Division of Emergency Management says some of the migrants may be hard to find now. The division has said that some of them got off the buses in other cities before reaching their planned destinations. The government is officially funded through most of next year. President Joe Biden signed the omnibus spending bill yesterday after Congress officially passed it Wednesday night. The $1.7 trillion legislation funds the government through the end of the fiscal year, which ends in September. It also invests in medical research, disaster recovery, veterans' health care, and provides military assistance to Ukraine. Biden did tweet a picture of him signing the bill into law saying, quote, "Looking forward to more in 2023. To business headlines, mortgage rates increased this week, breaking their 6-week streak of declines just ahead of the new year. The average rate on the 30-year fixed mortgage rose to 6.42% from 6.27% the week prior. It's according to Freddie Mac. Goldman Sachs plans to cut as many as 4,000 jobs in the new year. A person familiar tells Fox Business. CEO David Solomon warned in his end-of-the-year message to employees that the world's second-largest investment bank will be trimming its workforce in the first few weeks of the year. Southwest Airlines CEO says it will take a big financial hit due to the canceled and delayed flights and resulting chaos. The company's stock has been hit hard. It's offered to pay for impacted customers' travel and hotels, and it will spend millions upgrading its software system. But executives declined to provide an estimate of how much the disruptions will cost the airline in total. A similar incident in October of 2021 cost the airline about $75 million. The world's largest coal mining companies tripled their profits in 2022, defying expectations for an industry that was thought to be in terminal decline. Many countries that once pledged to quit coal have turned back to it as a reliable source of heat and power. And an appeals court has revived a lawsuit that accuses Google, YouTube, DreamWorks, and a handful of toy makers of tracking the activity of children under 13 on YouTube. This is not the first time YouTube has faced legal problems for how it handles children's data. It was fined $170 million by the FTC and New York State Attorney General in 2019. And tributes are pouring in from all around the world for a man widely known as one of the greatest soccer players in history. Pelé died yesterday at a hospital in Brazil. Doctors say he died from colon cancer. Pelé is the only footballer to have won 3 World Cups as a player. First at the age of 17 in 1958, then again in 1962 and 1970. He also holds the record for most goals scored throughout a career at 1,281. Brazil's president has declared a 3-day national mourning period in Pelé's honor. He was 82 years old. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.